What up, what up, what up? How we doing? How we doing? Good evening. Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well this evening. And hope your day went well. Hi, Lily. How are ya? Hope you guys' days went well. Hope your week is going well. What's today? Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. No, today is Wednesday. Look at me. I'm already looking forward to the weekend. So yeah, today Thursday. Like I said, I hope you guys had a great week. It's been a lot going on. You're peachy, Lily. All right then. I'm peachy too. Hope you guys had a great week. Hump day. So the rest of the week will go pretty smooth. We're calling it out. Calling those things that be not. Calling those things that be not. It's been a crazy month too. Crazy month. It's February. Glad the holidays are over. Valentine's Day was a lot. Ooh, doggy. Valentine's Day was a lot. New Year's was a lot. So, what we got coming up? Easter? What, a couple of months? Yeah, I'm not doing Easter. Not doing church on Easter. Grandmama and them be doing way too much. Way too many grandmas and unks going in there with the pink suits on and everything. Doing way too much. I don't need to do that to celebrate the Lord. So yeah. But like I say, I hope you guys had a great day. Hope your week is going well. Hope you're looking forward to a fabulous weekend. Did anybody watch the All-Star game? I don't even watch them anymore. I know Jalen Johnson was in there from the Hawks. Looks like he did pretty well. Ant-Man, Georgia, Georgia's own, ended up winning the MVP. I saw. I didn't even look at highlights from the dunk contest. I don't even do it anymore. They're all doing the same dunks in the dunk contest, if you ask me. And what else? 3-point contest. I did actually watch some highlights from 3-point contest. Dame Dollar dropping dimes once again. I think Dame ended up winning, didn't he? Yeah. But that rook, Con Knipple from Duke, playing in Charlotte, he is balling. He's actually doing a little better than I thought he was gonna be. Nah, what you talking about? Nah, Lee. What you talking about? Nah. Hold on 1 second. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and start getting into it. So, like I said, it's been a crazy month. The year started off crazy. It looked like the first week of the year, there wasn't a lot going on and wasn't a lot of crime to report. It just wasn't a lot of craziness going on. But wow, 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 wow. That second week of January, Valentine's Day, a week before Valentine's Day, man, they just turned it up a notch. And so I think the very first person to turn it up a notch was our very own Atlanta Falcon, my guy, broke the rookie record for sacks for the Falcons, Mr. James Pierce Jr. My man. He is going to have to get his attitude in check. Love his attitude on the field. I understand in practice that he was doing a lot, talking a lot, but it looks like he was trying to turn it up a notch and get everybody acclimated to his style of play, his style of practice. I didn't have a problem with that. However, when you get off the field, you kind of got to be like the Dark Knight, my man. You got to go from the Dark Knight on the field to Bruce Wayne off the field. You gotta let them demons lay low when you come off the field. So I'm gonna start off with some stuff that he did, and we'll go from there. We'll talk about it. Ladies, how you can, or how you should protect yourselves and how you can avoid things like this. I'm guessing you're a Falcons fan? Yeah. Falcons fan. For sure. I think you are too, Lily. Don't play now. Don't play. But we're going to go ahead and get started.
Also developing here at noon, an NFL player is now out of jail after bonding out following his arrest over the weekend in Doral.
He is accused of stalking his WNBA girlfriend and purposely crashing into her car twice. Local 10's Lenny Sue Paul is live outside the jail in West Miami-Dade.
And she's telling us a little bit about what those charges are that the NFL player is now facing right now.
James Pierce Jr. facing a long list of felony charges, including battery, domestic violence. This all happening after a 3-year relationship recently came to an end. But Saturday morning, the situation took a violent turn. Atlanta Falcons star linebacker James Pierce Jr. bonding out of jail Sunday night with a white towel draped across his face. But quickly approached by 3 men in suits who picked him up, they appeared to exchange words with him, getting Pierce to remove the towel and uncover his face.
James, is there anything you want to address about the charges?
No comment at this time. Pierce dodging questions, walking off in a hurry with no comment to his domestic battery charge. The alleged victim is Los Angeles Sparks forward Rickea Jackson, a rising star in the WNBA. On Sunday, a judge asking questions while ordering him to stay away from her.
I have no care about what his employment is. Okay?
A newly released police report shedding light on what happened Saturday morning. Jackson noticing Pierce's Lamborghini SUV following her. The report goes on to say when stopped at an intersection, he got out of his vehicle and tried to open her driver's side door. According to police, she drove away, but Pierce continued speeding after her. She drove to the Doral Police Department for help, but he tried to stop her, at one point rear-ending her, then intentionally colliding head-on with her vehicle.
Do you have any need to return to pick up any personal belongings?
Judge, I would just leave everything there. Whatever's there, it can stay there. It's fine.
A police report just released this morning shares more details about the situation that unfolded Saturday morning. A woman reporting someone was following her in a white Lamborghini around Northwest 99th Avenue in Doral. The report says when officers arrived, they located Pierce standing outside the vehicle, but he didn't comply with officer commands.
All right, so real quick, a judge saying she doesn't care. A lot of judges, they really just don't care when it comes to domestic violence, because those kind of things, from my experience, they just spiral out of control. They can go from calling too much, texting too much, then they get a TPO, temporary protection order. Then if you violate the protection order by calling again or texting again, then it moves up to aggravated stalking. It's automatically a felony when you move up to aggravated, anything aggravated. So now you're talking about automatically a year, supposedly, in jail. And then possibly going out, well, no, felonies are automatic 2 years. Yeah, misdemeanors are like 364 days. And then, yeah, was it 2 years? I forget. But then your felonies are 365 days or more. So it's an automatic 1 year. But yeah, anything aggravated stalking. So sometimes if the guys are in the same vicinity as the woman, like right next to her or close to her, you got a lot of guys in these domestic disputes that end up getting, strangulation, where they're trying to choke the woman, or they do actually choke the woman. So, but yeah, if, yeah, he's got to get that in check. I don't know what she did. It sounded like they were living together, though, because the judge asked him if he had anything that he needed to go get. And he said, Judge, anything that's there can stay there. So I know he plays for the Falcons, so I don't know if they moved to Miami, or I think she was playing for Miami at some point or something like that. So, but they can, pretty much, well, I think they were staying together, or at least he had some of his things over there. Maybe he was living there, in the off season or something like that, staying with her, and then maybe she stays with him during her off season. So, but of course, she plays basketball, football, and basketball. The time frames of when the sports are going on, they're not close to each other. So you got basketball, then football start up right after basketball or the last month of basketball, something like that. But yeah, man, best move. With him saying, Your Honor, whatever's there can stay there. So yeah, you pretty much need to stay away. And even if he does go over there to stay, go over there to get his things, they're going to have police to go with him. A couple of officers will end up going with him anyway. And looking at the history of, I think it took like somewhere between 6 and 8 officers to take him down. They'll end up having more than 2 officers go with them to, escort him to grab his things. And then you only have, a few minutes. They give you like 5 minutes to grab your things or something like that. So, but yeah, best thing for him, whatever he's got over there, just leave it. He can afford to get something else if he needs to. So, or if he even wants to.
The linebacker lighting up social media over the weekend, but it's his actions off the field capturing national attention. From this police chase in Doral to this dramatic takedown, roughly half a dozen officers spotted wrangling with the 6'5", 245-pound player before his arrest. Now he's returning to Atlanta with a list of felony charges, including aggravated domestic battery, aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, and stalking.
Were you stalking her?
That police report also says that Rickea Jackson was trying to drive.
Yeah, he is a big guy, Lily, 6'5", 240. That's NFL linebacker. Well, he plays defensive end, but, a lot of linebackers and defensive ends, pretty much switch in the NFL. Yeah, he is a big guy. I'm trying to think if he's probably somewhere close to the size of a couple of guys that I used to work with. I know one is 6'3", like 230. The other one is like 6'4", maybe 240. But yeah, and they're big guys. So yeah, this is a big guy.
To the Doral Police Department, but at that point in time, Pierce slammed into her 2 different times. We reached out to the Atlanta Falcons for further comment. They say they do not have any more comments at this time. Reporting live in West Miami-Dade, Lenny Supal, Local 10 News.
Yeah, so he is definitely going to have to get that in check. Man, those anger issues. Now, I know that I think there were character concerns or supposedly character issues when, his draft stock was, dropping in the NFL. But I never heard anything concerning. I understand, sometimes if you just don't rock with somebody, a certain player or a certain coach, they'll just kind of, put some things out there, so, but yeah, it's just, and they never gave any, from what I've heard, any damaging specific information. I think they said something about he was late to meetings or didn't show up for meetings or late to practice or didn't show up to practice. I don't see that as a character issue. That's more of a discipline issue that you can fix pretty good, pretty fast rather. So yeah, but this particular incident is definitely damaging. He'll more than likely get suspended from the NFL. I'm guessing at least 2 games, maybe 3 games, 4 at the most. I'm pretty sure the Falcons will take him back. Arthur Blank is usually, pretty, well, 1, transparent, but 2, pretty forgiving, as far as, allowing players to play and if they have certain issues coming on. Now, Arthur Blank also is one that will cut you deep if you lie to him or if the same incident happens again. So, but yeah, he'll pretty much probably still play for the Falcons. That's just my guess. Just going on history of, other guys in the NFL having different incidents. Some, probably a little worse than this. Why would he jeopardize his career like that? Sheesh. Sometimes these guys don't think. A lot of these guys that get into these situations, especially domestic disputes, they don't think of the end game. They just really don't. A lot of these guys are super aggressive, especially NFL players, where they have to be violent on a consistent basis throughout a football game and on a consistent basis for hours too. So, and a lot of these guys are super aggressive and do as I say, when I say it, how I say it, or else, that kind of thing. So they're used to talking trash and might, talk trash to their spouse. So that's why I say you pretty much have to be like the Dark Knight on the field, and then when you're off the field, turn into Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, calm, cool, collective, player's boy. And when he's on the field as the Dark Knight, he's whooping ass. So, but yeah, you just got to find a switch and be able to turn it off. Because if he does not, he'll end up like this next guy.
Thank you for watching. A Hamilton County judge denied bond for the former NFL player facing a murder charge in the death of his girlfriend. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. This is Darren Lee, you're about to see, walking into court for the first time since deputies charged him with the murder of Gabriella Perpetuo. Local 3's Madison Sims has been following the case since his arrest last week. She has new details from the detective.
Cindy, we want to warn viewers that some of the details might be hard to hear. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Detective Brian Lockhart says Gabriella Perpetuo was found with a broken neck, a severe brain injury, stab wounds, and bite marks on her body.
The microwave was shattered. There was glass everywhere. There was alcoholic bottles everywhere in the house. When you go upstairs, it was just they were moving in, but it was just in disarray.
The chaotic scene inside an Ottawa home was painted in detail for a Hamilton County judge Wednesday morning, as former NFL player Darren Lee made his first court appearance since his arrest. Prosecutors called Detective Brian Lockhart to the stand, asking him to describe the crime scene.
Mr. Lee was inside the residence. They asked him to step outside. They noticed blood on several walls.
Investigators say Lee claimed Gabriella Perpetuo slipped and fell in the shower while he was sleeping inside their Ottawa home. But Detective Lockhart said the scene told a different story.
There was blood going up the staircase on the hand railing. There was blood on the walls. There was blood on the floor in the living room. There was blood in the floor in the hallway upstairs. There was blood in just about every room except for, I believe, one room we didn't find any blood in.
Deputies also noticed cleaning products out of place.
Yeah, so this guy, wow, man, a broken neck, stab wounds, bite marks. This guy just crashed all the way out. All the way. Yeah, he's definitely an animal. This is beyond out of control. He just blacked out. I have no idea, no earthly idea what could have caused him to black out. She looks like a nurse. She looked like she had a selfie taken, maybe at work. So I don't know if he found out something, like there was another guy, or I don't know, maybe she was sending pictures to somebody, or he said something and she responded in a way that he didn't like, or she initially said something. I don't know. But this guy just blatantly crashed all the way out. And it looks like once he started, he just wouldn't stop, because the detective said there was blood going up the stairs, so on the hand railing. So it depends, I guess, on how you're seeing it. But I mean, he said going up the stairs, but it could have been blood coming down the stairs. But based on their investigation, they can probably tell if blood is going up the stairs or coming down the stairs. But yeah, man, this guy just crashed all the way out. I have no idea. And he's probably not going to even say why. And then he was still at the home. So I don't know how police, caught wind of the information that there was an incident. So maybe she was screaming and neighbors called the police. Yeah, this is crazy.
There was Clorox wipes out of the package, out of the actual plastic container on the floor. You could see the cleanup where there was swipes and wipes.
In court, District Attorney General Cody Wamp said the state could seek the death penalty, arguing Lee's prior felony convictions and the nature of the crime make him eligible.
We could present that evidence to a jury. They could use that evidence to find that the proper punishment for Mr. Lee is death.
Lee was convicted in Florida of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in 2023, and he took a plea in Ohio in a domestic assault case in 2024. By the end of the hearing, the judge made it clear Lee will not be going anywhere.
The proof is evident and the presumption is great. So Mr. Lee will remain on a no bond.
Lee will remain at the Hamilton County Jail, and his preliminary hearing will be March 9th.
Yeah, she knew better not to give him a bond. He was going to be gone. So he has a history of this. So domestic aggravated assault in 23. I'm guessing that was with a deadly weapon. So I'm guessing that was against a guy, because they didn't say. But then they said domestic dispute. And I'm pretty sure that was with a woman. So it looks like he had a history. Now, I don't know if he told the new girlfriend about his history or if she knew about his history, but him being a professional player and highly in the public eye, whether you're a current player or former player, you are still being, highly looked at, or you're still visible, and anything that you do will be highly scrutinized still, as if you're current. So same thing with law enforcement, former law enforcement, current law enforcement. Should you get into some trouble, they're going to say former law enforcement or former cop or former officer or whatever the case may be. They're going to highlight that. So anybody dealing with the public service, or any current or former, pro athlete, yeah, whatever you do is going to be highly publicized. And man, this guy, I just don't know where it went wrong.
We had the opportunity to speak exclusively with the family of Gabriela Perpetuo. Coming up tonight at 6, you'll hear from her mother and father, who talk about the moment police knocked on their door last Friday. Cindy.
Go sit down. Yeah, so to James Pierce Jr., my guy, if you don't fix it, you'll end up like Darren Lee. So they're seeking, the prosecutor look like she's going to seek the death penalty for Darren Lee. They probably more than likely won't give it to him because he's a public figure. I've not seen or heard of a public figure getting the death penalty. I'm just saying I haven't seen it or heard it. Not saying that it's never happened. But more than likely, even if the prosecutor does go for that, more than likely the judge won't give it to him. The judge will give him a good football number to think about. 80. Maybe an 80-year term or 80-year sentence, rather. She'll probably give him a good football number to think about while he's in there. So yeah, my guy, Mr. Pierce, cool it down. Cool it now. Just like old New Edition. Cool it now, man. Gotta get it in check. Gotta get it in check. Oh, this wasn't his first event, shaking my head. Yeah. Looks like it's his third. And normally too, when people are not put in check for these incidents, they just scale up. They just get higher and higher. A speeding ticket for a super speeder can turn into, a hit and run. It can turn into vehicular homicide, turn into carjacking. It can go all kinds of ways. Just starting off bad and it hasn't been put in check. So yeah, not his first offense, and the judge will move on that too. So she'll probably give him a good 80. Or I think his jersey number was 50. He might get 50. I don't know. She probably won't do that, but she'll give him something real good though. Believe that. Believe that. So, sticking with domestic disputes, man. You got some of these guys, all of these incidents happened within the last week or two. And you got some of these guys, man, they crash out so hard, they don't care who's around, where they are, what time of day it is, nothing. When you just crash out like that, you just blank out. You don't care what's on your mind. You don't care what the end game is. You're not even thinking about the end game. You hadn't thought about the end game. You don't even care what the end game is for anybody else around you. You just crashing out. And that's exactly what this next guy did. Check this guy out.
Well, the family of a man shot and killed outside of Palmetto Elementary School says they are devastated after her murder.
The family tells us that the suspected shooter and the victim had dated for 2 years and even had a son together. Let's get out to Fox 5's Angelique Proctor on top of this story for us. All new at 5 tonight. Angelique?
Yes, good evening to you both. Ebony Anderson's family tells me they are really lost for words. They told me today that she was actually door dashing yesterday when she was shot and killed. They also say it was her boyfriend who pulled the trigger.
It's been really tough. Trying to hold it together. My wife, she's taking it hard. It's a sad situation.
Ebony Anderson's stepfather says he is still trying to put all of the pieces together on how his 34-year-old stepdaughter was shot and killed in front of Palmetto Elementary School while door dashing with her boyfriend, Christopher Ates. Fulton County police say the mother was heading back to her car when Ates, with the couple's 17-month-old son in the vehicle, opened fire.
And at that time, she was, we believe, DoorDashing or Uber Eats, and when this happened, so no kids there of hers attends that school. So the only thing I can think of, teachers want to eat outside of the cafeteria food.
Tell us a little bit.
So check this out. This guy, DoorDashing with his girlfriend. She's 34 years old. I'm just going to take a wild guess that he's, let's say 35. At an elementary school, she's door dashing. He's door dashing with her. Looks like either she ain't got no job full time and he ain't got no job full time. So whatever the case is, he probably ain't got no job full time. If he did, he probably wouldn't be there. Me as a husband, I wouldn't dare let my wife DoorDash. It's just not gonna happen. I just got to do what I got to do. But her DoorDashing, it's just not gonna happen. Uber Eats, none of that. Driving for Uber, it's just not gonna happen. So this guy at an elementary school, when she gets back to her car, and he couldn't have found out anything on her phone because I've done DoorDashing and Uber Eats. So you got to take the phone with you because you got to take a picture of the food when you hand it to the person, or put it at the front desk because I've delivered at a school before. And when you get back to your car, she's got her phone, so I'm pretty sure he didn't see anything, at least not then, on her phone, with a 17-month-old boy in the car. Bruh. Bruh. Not even a year and a half old. So now this kid is probably traumatized for life. So, and this is what I'm talking about. So now you done crashed out so bad where you got to do this right then and there at the school. You got to do it with your little boy in the back. You got to do it at an elementary school. And it's got to be broad daylight. That's an insecure boy right there. Yeah, highly insecure. There's no way. And he already didn't have anything to lose. He didn't have anything to lose. So you mean to tell me he's not doing the DoorDashing because she went inside and delivered. So she's got to have it on her phone. So he's not DoorDashing at that point. I don't know if he is. So then I think I've heard that he was either homeless or jobless, but you got a pistol. Bro, I got pistols. They're expensive. Any pistol worth having is at least $200. At least. And you can go into some higher end pistols that can get up to $2,000. This guy, no job, DoorDashing, homeless, with a girlfriend, got a pistol, but he ain't got no job. $200. $200 without a job might as well be $2,000 with a job. Bruh, what the? Absolutely insane. So now you got murder, one charge. You're going to have cruelty to children because your boy is in the car. That's one count. But then guess what? You probably got how many kids in elementary school? Let's say maybe 100. Let's round it up, give or take. So now they probably won't do it that high, but you got a possibility of having 100 counts of cruelty to children because kids are at a school and you're at the school in the parking lot. So he's gone for the rest of his life. Talking about Darren Lee and him gone, getting that football number, that 50 on his jersey, on his back. Yeah, this guy here might get 100. He's gone. He's gone. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. No job, no house of your own, but you got a pistol. Yeah.
About Ebony.
A loving, caring mother, sister, very quiet, you know, as far as she was bubbly, but quiet and nice.
Ebony had twin sons who were 8 years old and the son with AIDS. The family says AIDS had served time in prison, was homeless, and in their opinion was really bringing Ebony down. Her stepfather says, unfortunately, he could see an ending like this coming.
This Christopher Aids, this was her boyfriend.
Yes.
Was the family not supportive of the relationship? I mean, just...
No, but it was something that she chose in life to be with, and this is the results.
Ladies, 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 ladies. Stop picking the guy that is going to prison. Stop picking the guy that is going to prison. Stop picking the guy who was about to go to prison. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Right, right. Former prisoner and homeless. Ladies, you gotta stop. I understand the bad boy, but if it's gotta be a bad boy, get the bad boy that goes to church every now and then. Or get the bad boy with a job. Get the bad boy who likes to play basketball on the weekends with the guys. Get the bad boy with a sports car. Don't get the bad boy without a job and homeless. Without a job, homeless, and a former prisoner. Come on, ladies, y'all gotta do better. You gotta do better. Too many of these cases are going around. There are more that I have to do. There's just too many of them. Ladies, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. You want me to help you get a bad boy with a job, ladies? I will help you. I will help you get the bad boy with a job, though. Who's not going to do anything even remotely close to this nonsense. Man.
And what tragic results. She leaves behind 3 young sons, twins who are 8 years old, and then the 17-month-old that she had with suspect AIDS. That is the very latest. Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Angelique, thanks.
Man. So that guy just ended up crashing just all the way out. Nothing to lose. No idea, again, what caused it. More likely, he's not going to say. He's not going to tell the family. He's not going to tell anybody to tell the family. Man. Man. Absolutely crazy. Moving right along. Our sons are motherless. Lord have mercy. Yeah, they're fatherless too. They're fatherless too, Lily. So now, if the family doesn't go through the court system to get the little boy, of course, he's going to be in foster care. A lot of foster care that has gone wrong. A lot of foster care that has gone wrong. So now, pretty sure that the young lady's mom, because she's taking it so hard, will try to get the grandbaby. And she already has her man, her husband, in place. So maybe, just maybe, they'll, try to adopt the young boy, the 17-month-old. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe that's a conversation. Maybe it's not a conversation. Maybe it goes without saying for them. So, man, looks like the dad, just or the family just tried to tell her, listen, hey, this ain't the guy. This ain't the guy. And it's just, man, when you get these young women, man, they just feel like, oh, he's the one for me. Oh, he does this and that and the third, right? I know he don't have this, but man, ladies, you gotta start picking the right guy. You gotta start picking the right guy. All right, so this last young lady was 34. All right, we're gonna guess that her man's age was 35. So now we're talking about this next segment. Well, they're getting younger. They're getting younger and younger and crashing out. And once again, not sure why. But let's go ahead and check this out.
Following the Appalachia High School mass shooting, the tragic shooting in 2024 at the beginning of the school year. It took the lives of 4 people, multiple others were injured, and now the father of the suspected shooter is on trial, and jury selection has been underway for the last few days. Our Grace King has been following it all. Grace, we understand there are some new developments in this process of trying to seat a jury in this trial.
Well, Zach, at this point, we have a jury. The judge picked 15 different jurors today, 12 jurors, 3 alternates, but of course, they won't know who those alternates are until the trial is over. But that jury, they picked them out today. Now, we're still in Hall County. That's where they picked the jurors, so they haven't been sworn in yet. That process will have to take place in Barrow County, where the trial will start. But big news this morning that in less than an hour, they were able to kind of pick their jurors, make their final strikes, and get ready to start trial on Monday.
Grace, you answered the question I was going to ask you. It was, when does this officially start in front of the jurors? It sounds like that's going to be on Monday. For folks who maybe are just tuning into this stage of this saga that unfortunately has been ongoing since that shooting back in 2024, we know that Colin Gray, the father of the suspected shooter, has pleaded not guilty here. It is unusual to see a parent of a suspected school shooter face charges, but that's what we're seeing right now, right?
It is. It's the first of its kind it's the first case of its kind, rather, in Georgia. Colin Gray, the state accuses him of providing the firearm to Colt Gray that was allegedly used in the shooting. They say he had received sufficient warning before giving him that gun that Colt could harm himself or others. So they kind of used their indictment on that recklessness negligence claim. We don't often see that. Usually it has to be more of an active role to be charged as a party to a crime, and we don't typically see the parents being held accountable for crimes their children are accused of. And that was a big conversation with jurors. They kept asking them, have you heard about this case? What have you heard about that case? And how does this influence your opinion on this case? Is this something that you could put aside? Is this something where your mind's made up? Because they want to make sure they have jurors who can put their feelings aside. And some of them were saying, as a parent, I would never allow my kid access to a gun. We have, 10 guns in the house. We keep them locked up, but I would never allow my kid access to that. And I can't believe a parent would do that. They obviously pushed those jurors aside, didn't want those jurors. And you had other jurors who said, I take my kids shooting. That's normal. They also were trying to find some people with some middle ground, not fixed opinions one way or another, but the whole parental responsibility. It's, again, the first case of its kind here in Georgia, and it's going to be at the heart of this case.
Grace, one last question for you before we let you go here. I understand that we are not able to get a camera inside of the courtroom as jury selection is underway, but you have been inside the courtroom. You've been describing it for us for the last few days. Are there any singular moments from that jury selection process that stand out to you and your memory as you look back on these 2.5 days of jury selection?
So real quick, Colin Gray is the father of the young man. I think his name is Colt Gray. Went inside Appalachian, high school, opened fire, was trying to shoot just randomly anybody. I don't remember why. I don't even know if he said why, but this was just last year. I think this was early last year too, and I remember this going on. So the father gave him a gun, and I don't know if the father gave him a gun just for this particular incident, or just gave him a gun like as a gift or something like that. But there's a fine line, I think, between introducing kids to guns and just giving them free with guns. So as a parent, I think you got to find some ways to scale that back just a little bit. You got to scale that back because these kids are crashing out more and more. A lot of them are not getting any physical activity where, sports are concerned or even playing outside. A lot of them are on the internet, playing video games, all that kind of stuff. So, and then a lot of them aren't getting much human interaction at all either, aside from class. But there's not a lot of actually human interaction that you can get in classes either, because teachers don't want you, doing a lot of talking in school. Why weren't those guns locked up? I don't think there was a case of the guns being locked up, Lily. I think he just gave the kid a gun, just as a gift. Some fathers do that. Kids turn 18 or 17 or whatever, they just have, I guess because maybe their fathers, gave them a gun at a certain age, they feel like it's the right thing to do to give their child a gun at a certain age. But you got to look at, it was different times. Oh, and AI on top of all I mentioned, yeah. And you just kind of got to look at different times. A lot of, kids nowadays, like I said, just aren't getting a lot of human interaction, and they just don't know how to, I guess, read the room, so to speak. Then you still got kids being kids and parents teaching them different things, about racism and hate and that kind of thing, because parents aren't always in control. There are from my experience, just in life, and this isn't just law enforcement, but in life, you have very few people that are emotionally intelligent. And you probably have high school teenagers, kids of that nature, that just don't have any emotional intelligence. So you got kids that'll just, pick on other kids no matter what the kids say or think or does, and they just won't stop. Teachers sometimes don't know how to stop it. Teachers sometimes won't even stop it. So because of ramifications or whatever, because parents are so freaking sensitive about anybody saying something to their kid in order to control them. When a lot of these kids are just off the walls nowadays. So, but yeah, it's crazy. So I don't know what happened with this young man. I don't know if he was getting picked on or he was, just teed off or what happened. But yeah, he just ended up crashing out on him.
We did, on Monday, there was one juror who, as soon as they started reading out the indictment, she just broke down crying. This is a tough case. We're an hour away, but an hour away is not far enough away that you probably don't know what happened, that you weren't able to, feel some of those emotions from this tragedy. Of course, we lost 4 lives that day, 2 teachers, 2 students, 9 others were hurt. And a lot of these kids and families are just traumatized from it. And this one juror, she broke down. They asked her about that in an individual crying. And she said, I'm just a mom. I can't imagine my kid doing something like this. I can't imagine my kid being one of those lives lost. And it's just so emotional and so tough for a lot of these people to be here. So that's really just kind of stuck with me. And I mean, anytime we go out to Barrow County or Appalachia High School and talk to these families, their lives are forever changed. There's a lot at stake here in this trial. Some of them are really hoping they'll be able to get accountability, and others are wondering what kind of precedent this will set for other parents in the future.
Our Grace King, we know you have been following this from the very beginning. We know you're going to continue to stay on top of it. We appreciate it.
Yeah. And there is a video of a young lady who was a student, and she just kind of talked about her interaction with the young man, Colt, and how she experienced it. And let's take a look at this.
Bree Jones was the first student to lay eyes on Colt Gray, just moments before she says he began his deadly rampage.
Like, he knocked on the door. I went up, I saw him holding a bag and just pulling the gun out. I'm not sure what kind of bag was it, but I seen him pulling it out of a bag, and like, the gun was so big. Like,
Gray was her classmate, and their class the first he tried to enter, she tells CNN.
I always look out the door before I open it. That's just like, it's a habit my mom taught me.
But as her teacher instructed her to let him back in, she said,
I know he has a gun. If I would have opened the door, then like, he would have got every single one of us in that class. And I don't want me, my teacher, my friends in the class, and my other classmates, I don't want none of us to get hurt. So I just didn't go. Like, I thank God that I did not open that door.
Jones said Gray moved on to her sister's class down the hall.
Colt shot my teacher multiple times.
Malaysia Mitchell says she'll never be able to erase the image of her teacher, Richard Aspinwall, begging for help.
And we had to drag our teacher's body and fully into the classroom. We heard him take his last breath.
Mitchell says she felt powerless.
I've been trained what to do, like give CPR and other stuff, but I couldn't because I couldn't help him. So I ended up having a seizure.
The 14-year-old suspect who allegedly caused all this pain in court today with family.
Man. Yeah, she's gonna need some therapy. Go sit down, Coffee. Go sit down. Go sit down. Yeah, she's gonna need some therapy. The young lady said she was already trained to do what she was supposed to do as far as CPR is concerned, but she couldn't because her nerves were so bad, the situation was so intense, and she ended up having a seizure. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. How do you, first of all, kids are not supposed to be going through this. And then number two, how in the world do you prepare a child to go through this? So as parents, as mentors, as leaders, we've got to find something different to do concerning our kids. Everybody can't homeschool. Everybody can't even afford to homeschool. Everybody doesn't even have the wherewithal to homeschool, even if they could afford it. And man, this is absolutely insane. So what do? We got to come up with some solutions. So, man, I don't know.
Families of the victims just feet behind him.
You're charged with 4 counts of felony murder.
Just minutes after the suspected shooter left the courtroom, where he did not enter a plea, his father walked in for his own first appearance.
2 counts of felony murder in the 2nd degree. You're charged with 4 counts felony involuntary manslaughter.
And he's charged with 8 counts of 2nd-degree felony cruelty to children. An arrest warrant for Colin Gray alleges he gave his son a firearm when he knew his son was a threat to himself and to others. It's only the second time a parent has been charged in connection with a mass shooting carried out by their child.
The GBI has arrested Colin Gray.
Last April, in an unprecedented case, the parents of Ethan Crumbley were each sentenced to 10 to 15 years for involuntary manslaughter. The DA in the case says Colt Gray may face additional charges.
So if you guys remember, I think the Crumleys were from Michigan with the incident with their son, shooting up the school. And an unprecedented case, first time, both parents charged, getting 10 to 15 years. And if I remember correctly, these parents, they weren't even cooperating with law enforcement when they came to the house to try to, question them about what happened, why it happened. So, yeah, and I think it was easy to charge them because they were unwilling to cooperate at all. And they didn't even go the route of obstruction, which usually is the case. They just went all the way with charging them as well. And you hear with Colin Gray, who was Colt Gray's dad, 8 counts. 2 counts of second-degree murder, 8 counts of child cruelty. And I think that's 8 kids were around, maybe 8 kids were in that particular class or in those particular classrooms where Colt Gray ended up shooting a teacher. Yeah. So it looks like law enforcement and law is taking a turn because parents at all times have to be responsible for their kids and their kids' behavior. So since parents don't, well, okay, let's go ahead and charge these parents. I did a live video on the 6-year-old who shot his teacher and the mom getting almost 4 years in prison. 6 years old, shooting a teacher in Virginia. So definitely the law is turning a blind eye to these parents just not caring anymore. So, yeah.
Can anticipate there will be new charges on Colt Gray because we'd never addressed the other victims in the school.
At Appalachia High, some students left wondering how they can possibly move forward. Do you think you'll be able to come back to school?
Yes, because I'm not going to walk in fear.
Joey Jackson's with me now, our legal analyst, criminal defense attorney, of course, and Tim Clemente, former FBI agent. So, Joey, the father of the shooter, Colin Gray, second-degree murder charges, which is much more severe than involuntary manslaughter, which were the charges successfully brought against the Michigan school shooter, Ethan Crumbley's parents. So, do you think prosecutors can reach this bar, second-degree murder?
So more evidence, obviously, Aaron, will be brought forward. But from what we know now, what they're doing, prosecutors is using what they have available. What do they have available? There's a statute in Georgia, a law that speaks to when you inflict harm upon a child, either mentally or physically, and it comes with negligence, and a child dies, guess what that is? It's second-degree murder. And so the theory is, if you're negligent here, what's negligence? Do you not have a duty and a responsibility to make sure that your firearms are in a place that they're not accessible to someone? And so I think what they're doing, Aaron, is they're using this law to suggest that the father did not exercise due and reasonable care. And in not doing that, left it to his child, who obviously had problems. And as a result of that, there's death. I think it's appropriate.
I mean, Tim, because we know that the teen, allegedly, made threats about shooting a school, and he and his father went in and were interviewed about that. And it was after that that the father gave him the gun that he used to kill people. So just to make sure that timeline, again, is blatantly clear. But in that, when he and his son were brought in by investigators because his son had made those threats, here's what Colin Gray, the father, said.
Please instill in him that if this is whatever or wherever this is coming from, it's no joke.
No.
It's no joke.
But we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know. I know, and I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah,
Hey, are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school, and is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there. Yeah. You know, because you never really know, and I don't want anything to happen to him.
So Tim, you know, in all of the interrogations, interviews you've been in as the FBI agent asking the questions, obviously the teen is in custody right now, and you think that maybe his comments or something that he has said even now could have led to his father's arrest?
Yeah, I think it's very possible because from what I heard early on, the kid was cooperating or at least answering questions. And if he didn't lawyer up and shut up immediately, he may have revealed things about why his dad gave him the gun, what his dad said about having the gun, what his dad might have said about bullies and how to deal with them. There's a lot of things that kid could have said to implicate his father. And the fact that he so quickly leads me to believe that he may have said something that led authorities to jump on it immediately.
And, you know, his ex-father-in-law, I mean, I'm saying this is what we would hear, right? This is what was said, that Colin Gray, the father, created a hostile environment in the home, would yell at the teen and his mother, that it was a very abusive and dysfunctional situation, if not physically, mentally so. How does that play into this?
So the problem, Aaron, is that goes to what we call as lawyers mitigation. It doesn't excuse and it's not a defense. It might go to what any type of punishment would be, but because there's an environment like that, you can argue that the father should have taken further steps to secure the weapon so that they don't get into his hands. And so to just say that someone has a home like that, shouldn't that then put you on notice even more as a parent to ensure that your child doesn't have access? So it'll be used, but it will not be used in terms of a defense to excuse what occurred.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both so very much.
Yep. He'll put you on notice, but like I said, some people don't care though. Some people they just don't care. They point blank. They don't care. And when you don't care, if somebody points it out to you, well, what do you know? Now you're famous for the wrong reasons, all the wrong reasons. So yeah. Now we got coming up.
Being beaten to death. Now authorities have made
another situation involving a kid. And this was a couple of years ago. Teenager, again, and just, once again, for no reason, just crashing out. And he just crashed out on the whole neighborhood. Man, take a look at this guy.
We begin with breaking news right now in Raleigh. An active shooting situation. It's in Hedingham near Osprey Cove Drive and Bay Harbor Drive. We see the Raleigh police right here. We just saw highway patrol officers also joining this investigation.
Yeah, residents in this area are being told to shelter in place. Let's go to Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center with what else we know about this incident. Mark.
Well, Gerald, this certainly is an active situation that's unfolding right now. Eric Miller providing these ground pictures for us show you again. They have four-wheelers, they have ambulances, fire trucks as police continue to pour into this area. This picture where Eric is off of Eagle Trace Drive. This is not where the shooting happened. I'm going to change this monitor here, let Eric step back up. I want to bring this to your attention too. This is the press release we have from police. Residents in that area advised to remain in their home. That area is the Neuse River Greenway near Osprey Cove Drive and Bay Harbor Drive. This is the neighborhood. On the map, you can see there are hundreds of homes in that area. This is the Neuse River Trail, the Greenway. It runs right along that neighborhood. We have been hearing that this is an active shooting situation. Police have confirmed that. The number of people shot is not confirmed. Show you Sky 5 video right now on your screen. We can show you what it looks like. Sky 5's refueling right now. They should be back live in just a couple of minutes. But when we first arrived on scene, we saw officers with long guns out there coming in with police tape to secure the area. We don't know if the shooting happened in a home or perhaps along the Greenway or that wooded area behind the home. Eric Miller is live outside one of the neighborhoods. Eric, what are you seeing behind you? Really active this time of night. You add this to it, it's busy time out there.
Well, Mark, this has been an unbelievably active scene, and I want to step out of the way so y'all can appreciate just what's going on here. We've seen a number of agencies, state police, Raleigh police, state highway patrol, all of them flying into this neighborhood. This is Eagle Trace Drive and the intersection of Southall Road. You can see we've got a member of the sheriff's office out here directing traffic. These deputies having to deal with an unbelievably chaotic scene, as we have seen ambulances, fire trucks, other fire vehicles, as well as police officers flying in and out of this neighborhood, often at high speed. You can see there another, I believe that's going to be a sheriff's deputy there as well, though it's difficult to read that vest. That gentleman directing traffic away. Neighbors are not being allowed into their community at this time. These folks being turned away. And right now, as we pan this camera off here to the left, you can see the line of cars as folks wait not only to get into their neighborhood, but also wait for answers, more details on what exactly has happened just right down the street from their homes. Again, so many unanswered questions. We're staying on top of this story. We'll bring you answers as we get them. Back to you.
And Eric, we'll be checking back with you as soon as you have an update for us. Eric Miller there in the Hedingham neighborhood in Raleigh, where there is an active shooting scene. We'll stay on top of it here on WRAL. And now this is a horrible story.
So yeah, that turned out to be this young man who was 15 at that time. Broad daylight, crashing out. Brazen. I don't care what I'm doing, who I'm doing it to, who's around, what's around, where I am. I am crashing out. I'm crashing out to some serious funk. Crashing out to some serious funk. Just flat out crashing out. Here we go. Guess what the judge did for him? Oh, you want to crash out? Oh, okay. I got something for you.
Level 1 based on no prior record.
Yes, Your Honor. If I've been approached, we have it written.
Yes. And let me just verify. I'll get to this. So. All right. Mr. Thompson, this time the court is going to enter judgments in this case. There will be several judgments entered. For the first-degree murder of James Thompson, I'm ordering you incarcerated for a term of life without the possibility of parole in the custody of the Department of Adult Corrections.
James Thompson was his brother, who was a year and a half older than him at the time. This was, I think, in October 22. This young man was 15. His brother, 16 and a half, was the first person he deleted. Oh, you want to crash out? Delete your family? Delete your neighbors? Oh, okay, I got something for you. Let's go. That's the first life sentence. Let's go.
That's an active sentence. For the murder of Nicole Connors, I'm ordering that you be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole in the custody of the Department of Corrections. It's an active sentence. It's consecutive to the judgment I just imposed. For the first-degree murder of Gabe Torres, I'm ordering you incarcerated in the custody of the Department of Adult Corrections for life without the possibility of parole. That's an active sentence. It's consecutive to the judgment entered immediately prior. For the first-degree murder of Mary Beth Marshall, I'm ordering you to the custody of the Department of Adult Corrections for a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. That judgment is consecutive to the previously entered judgment.
Yep, there's all
and for the murder of Susan Carnatz, I'm ordering you the custody of the Department of Adult Corrections for a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. It's an active sentence consecutive to the judgment previously entered. For the attempted first-degree murder and assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury I'm Lynn Garner. I'm consolidating these offenses into a single judgment. And Mr. Latour, is that a B2 felony, the attempted first-degree murder?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Ordering you incarcerated for a term of 157 months minimum, 201 months maximum in custody of the Department of Adult Corrections. That judgment is consecutive to the judgments previously imposed. And finally, for the attempted first-degree murder, assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury, and assault on a law enforcement officer with a firearm. I'm consolidating those offenses into a single judgment, and this is for victim Casey Clark of 157 months minimum, 201 months maximum in the custody of the Department of Adult Corrections, and that judgment is consecutive to the previously entered judgments. And that, sir, is the judgment of the court.
So, woo, 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. And I think 2 sentences for attempted murder. 157 months minimum, 200 maximum. Minimum and maximum. What you want? Yeah. Oh, you want to crash out on your brother? You want to crash out on a neighborhood? You want to crash out on an old lady? You want to crash out on a former cop? All right. I got something for you. 157 minimum. Minimum. He didn't even have to call out the last 2. He was already gone for the rest of his life without the possibility of parole. They'll never see the light of day again. Not on the outside. Not on the outside. You want to crash out? All right. We're going to crash you in. You want to crash out? What you laughing at, Lily? You want to crash out on your family? Yeah, we got something for you. We got something for you. And I think, let me see. I think the young man ended up writing a note or something.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense enters notice of appeal and requests that the appellate defender's office be appointed.
So noted. The appellate defender is appointed to represent the defendant in this point forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm saying it was funny. Oh, okay.
If there's no further business for the court, we are adjourned. We are adjourned. Yes, sir.
All rise. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. This Honorable Superior Court for the County of Wake now stands adjourned. Sine die. God save the state and this Honorable Court.
And in a different video that I was looking at, the young man wrote a note or a letter, I believe either while he was in court or before he just started everything, saying that he is not mental. He just hates humans. 15. What are we doing? Another teenager having access to his parents' guns. So are we doing a grave, and I mean grave, disservice to our kids by introducing them to guns while they're teenagers? I understand we want to show them some things, teach them some things, teach them self-defense, teach them hunting, so that they can, I guess, pretty much be at the top of the totem pole. but you are knocking the totem pole down, in my experience, in my estimation. You are knocking the totem pole down when you bring guns into the mix at a very early age. He's not human, I guess. Might have been some kind of alien or something. I don't know, Lily. That just insane. Insane. Yeah. Let's try to get into a little more positivity. And, you know, I know those were, you know, some sad moments, and there was a lot going on, but let's see if we can get into a little bit of positivity rather. Cam Newton talking about the money and Super Bowl. So let's hear it.
For winning the Super Bowl, the winning team, each player gets $178,000. In other words, the Super Bowl isn't a part of their salary. And because the game...
Balls right there, Piggy. Now, to Boomer's point.
Okay.
Any game in the playoffs, that is not a part of your salary, even though you may get an incentive in your salary.
Okay.
There's a difference.
All right. You get paid extra for every game you play.
Those are incentives.
Correct.
But that's not a part of your specific salary.
Okay.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that's not a part of your base salary.
Mm-hmm.
Anything postseason is extra.
Your incentives is in there, but the base salary of or the pay that
it's for the 18 weeks that you are contracted to play. You may say 18, Cam, you only play 17. Well, though the bye week of your week, you still get paid regular as well.
Okay.
Okay, keep playing.
And because the game was played in California, and California has a jock tax, and they look at duty days. So each team spends 7 days in the state of California. So those are 7 duty days. And
so did they actually call it a jock tax in California? Is it, man, that's crazy. That seems so old school to me. So does every other state call it a jock tax? Because I think I've heard that every state taxes pro ball players according to what the taxes are for the state. So maybe they just call them taxes and California just want to be different or something. I don't know. That's pretty wild.
And they pierce your regular salary at 3.5%. So he has to pay when you take in account he got the $178,000 plus his overall salary. He has to pay the state of California for spending 7 days there $249,000. That's just so stupid. Yeah, but it ends up costing him $71,000 to go play in California. Now, if I'm the NFLPA, now you got to remember, it's probably even more than that because since he's in Seattle, he's playing against San Francisco 49ers. So that's another day he's there. And he's playing against the LA Rams. That's another day he's there. So he's probably had like 9 or 10 duty days.
So to the people that's out there, and you may scratch your cranium with the utter questions that say, how does an athlete go broke?
Mm-hmm.
There's a such.
Before you even get there, I was scratching my head at how in the world do these taxes just, man, they just, man, that is wild. So they're taxed every day that they spend. You don't even have to play. The game days are one day. But the day you arrive and you're practicing, that's a so-called duty day, and you're starting to get taxed that day. You're not even, man, this is crazy, man. They get $178,000 for the winner of the Super Bowl, just for the game. But you're not paid to practice, you're paid to play. And that's being paid if you win. That's $178 if you win. So what do the losers get? Like $125, $150, $100? Wow, man, that is crazy, man.
Thing, not a long word, not a complex word that starts with T. It's them taxes. Now, you're taxed at the 1 percentile of Americans, huh?
Yeah.
You got state tax, income tax, federal tax, duty tax.
Damn, Tag.
I'm trying to tell you, bro, it's tough. Uncle Sam, and I ain't talking about Donald, gonna get him before you get you. And this is the knee slapper right here, Peggy, the crotch kicker. You get your money first, and them taxes roll around after you got your money. So you think you're good.
So you gotta pay it back.
And then you realize you ain't. I'll give you an example. Because I see the puzzled look on you.
Because yeah, break it down, brother.
You get paid regardless.
Okay.
But do you pay taxes every day?
No.
When it's time to pay your taxes,
At the end of the year.
quarterly,
Oh yeah.
or at the end of the year, you can say to yourself, why am I paying the state of California so much money? Uncle Sam gonna get him. So when you done spent on that Ferrari, Lambo, Birkin, turban, them clothes, bros,
and
I don't knows, that money ain't there.
That money ain't yours.
I'm trying to tell you, we ain't talking about Doritos, nachos. But brother and sister, be alert, because that's how they get you. They give you the money. And when it's time to do your taxes, whatever city and state that you played in, they will be expecting their end of the bargain. And they don't care what you done did with your end of the bargain.
But let me ask you two questions. Number one, do both teams get paid for going to the Super Bowl? Winners get more than the losing team, right?
So each round of the playoffs,
Correct.
everybody pretty much gets the same. It doesn't matter if you're Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Puka Nacua, John Doe.
First
If you're
person
a
on the roster,
member
last person.
on the roster, you get paid the same. It's already cut, covered, and all the above.
Okay.
Now, your incentive may have it in your contract where starting a playoff game, now that's what enhances the difference.
Okay.
But what you get paid to play in that game as a member on that team, it's the same. All right? You go to the next round. That purse is a little bigger than the last purse. You play in the next round, that purse obviously is bigger than you find yourself in the Super Bowl. Of course that purse is bigger because the winner and the loser benefits the most. Why would you say? Because you got so many things that the winners may get. The team got merch. The team got so many other things that the team benefits off of because the team won. Stay with me, baby.
I'm with you.
So no matter who the player is,
Yeah, I hear you on that moving like a business, Lily, opening an LLC. Yeah, there are some that do that, actually. I don't know how many or what percentage, though, but there are some players that actually do that. I know there are some NBA players. Kevin Durant does some investing with his money. I know Shaq did a lot of investing with his money. Michael Jordan, of course. And then you have Steph Curry does some investing with his money. He's got a business. But as far as NFL players, I hadn't heard of many of them that do that. I know Julio Jones, when he was playing with the Falcons, I think I heard that he had like a couple of car dealerships I don't know if he still has them or not. But yeah, I know there are some NBA players that do that and move like a business. I don't know of many NFL players that do.
All them years that Brady was when he made the same amount as his teammates.
Okay.
The incentives are what made him.
The difference.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
You hear me knocking?
Well, let me.
Well, let me in there. Peggy, next clip.
Yeah, man. So $178,000 just for the Super Bowl. Well, but that's for every player. But then you got like what, 52 guys on the roster. So you got roughly 200 grand, 200 times 10 is 2 million times another 5. So it's spreading out 10 million for the winners. So, but Cam was saying that money increases as you go further in the playoffs. So I'm wondering where the money starts with a losing team in round one. So each player get like 50 grand for a game, but no, that's interesting though. But that's gonna be it for today, man. I thank you guys for coming in, locking in, rocking with me, and hey, we'll do it again next week. Maybe this weekend. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for coming. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for commenting. And we'll do it again, like I say. 3 million subscribers. Loaded.